of the things I get asked most of all, well, two things actually. One is it possible to make money from YouTube, from having videos on there? And the second question, usually asked immediately afterwards, and the question people really want to know is how much. And it's all very well for me to sit and say you can do this, you can do this, you can do that. There's actually several websites that show the approximate earnings, the estimated earnings. You can't get it exact, but you can get a ballpark figure. And I think it's probably fair to say that if you take an average, a middle of the figures that are quoted, you'll get a good idea of what a channel's making. So the site I recommend, it's just been redesigned, it's great, I've just got to find my way around it, is socialblade.com, and a good title when you go in showing people socially what you're earning there, and has loads of details. Now I'm looking at a channel here which is called Cute Girl Hairstyles. Okay, great name, and this is showing some recent stats. And we can see from that this channel, here's some dates, 3,500 subscribers added that day, 300,000 views that day, total number of views in total. And their earnings here, these are shown in euros. US dollars, if you're interested, is about 1.3 times that. So we're looking at, in a dollar range, between about $150 and $2,000. And that's for the day. Yes, this is a channel where a mother, a work-from-home mum, did a couple of videos for friends showing how she did her daughter's hair, and that's just taken off. They make a film about once a week now, and by most accounts are making about $1 million. The husband, the father of the family of I think it's 6 now, has packed in his normal job and helps hold the camera. If you're making $1 million a year, you probably would do the same, wouldn't you? So nice looking family, nice little niche there. Other people have copied various things, but you get some idea of what they've done. You get some daily averages here, and this is in US dollars over the year. They're 45 to half a million. It varies across. In the second half of the year we're looking at here, they did particularly better, and you can see there, if we look, the number of subscribers a day, and this green is the number of users a day. We can, up on the left here, to remind you, this is socialblade.com, get some idea of their earnings, again in euros. That covers over the last year, and I say it's well believed that the last half of this year they got a lot more. Do get some adverts in. Look at their subscribers growing, and you can see that's going up. Some days it doesn't actually show up every day, but you can see that. You can see future projections, what stage of the growth, so algorithmically when are they going to hit 400 million views, 500, and so on. Similar channels, recent videos. But if we go into monthly statistics, we can see here over the this is a period December 21 to January 19, 2013, 2014. Again, you get some idea of what they're doing. Let's look at one particular person who you may not know. This guy is currently getting about 8 subscribers a second. A Swedish guy, and all he does, he talks a bit to the camera and just shows people how he plays video games. Sits at his home in Malmö, I think, in Sweden. And you can see this guy is making somewhere between, oh, you've fallen off your chair, yes, 1.2 million and 13 million yearly earnings. Remember, that's euros, so that's round figures, 1.5 to 20 million euros. And that is, I'll just show the channel name again, PewDiePie. My Swedish isn't very good, so I don't know how that's pronounced, but that gives you some sort of an idea. He's graded A++. He's the second most subscribed channel in the world. YouTube's own channel for YouTube is the highest, and so on. And I suppose the things you want to see, you're probably going to go and rush that now, but let's just see what my particular channel, one I've been showing you on this course, shows. And I only get a grade B, but I'm working on it. 36,000 people have more subscribers than me. If you think of the billions of accounts, that's actually quite good. It's only 20,000 people have more videos than me. My views in the last 30 days as I made this film was just under 1 million. It's down a little bit. Subscribers are up 3 times because of the changes that I made, so I was getting a lot more subscribers coming in. That's a very impressive figure. You've got some earnings there. As I say, you can generally approve somewhere in between those. You can see that I'm there with full screen, and if I scroll down, this is covering a month's period, and you can see the view per day. And again, some of those days are missing. It's just the way this system works. And you can see some daily earnings there. So if it misses a day, then you can assume the next day it covers the 2 days. So that period there covers 2 days. That gives you some idea of what's on there. Shows the latest films. You can track subscriber growth. Again, the channel there, how many subscribers over a period, how that's growing each day, and you can see it ranges, you've seen from other films, from sort of 300 down to a few. They can look at, or you can look, and remember anybody can look at this, you just need the YouTube username in there, and we get some idea of where we are at the moment. So the time you see this, hopefully that will have increased considerably, but they're saying you look over the next 6 months, 9 months, next few years and so on. Monthly statistics, you see what we're doing on a month-to-month basis, and earnings and so on. And if we scroll down, we can see an idea of average earnings over the year, be somewhere between that figure, and I can assure you, yes, that is correct. And the averages here are, well, obviously an average is an average over a year, but it does vary, but these figures are about right. So that's socialblade.com, an amazing site. There's absolutely tons of information on this site. You got situations, see who's had the most unsubscribers today, who's had the most lost views. This tends to be, and I must stress, not always the case, but where people have put copyrighted films or whatever up and they suddenly lost their channel or lost the views. You can see which films have been most viewed. Quick look at that, and you can see some of these figures here. So Machinima, 10 million subscribers, 4.7 billion video views, and of course we can take that name, I'll probably type that in actually. We can go here, if I type it right and search that one, and that'll give us some idea of 8++ 13th best, and somewhere between $300,000 and $3 million a year on that channel. And you can see the 4.7 billion. So it gives you an idea of all the various things that can be done. You can check who's got the most subscribers, and I mentioned PewDiePie. At the time of this recording, it's 20.7 million. That is, I say, going up by, I think it's 8 every second, so it's going through about 1 million every 3 weeks, and every month it's getting less and less. YouTube themselves, he's beaten them there. He's actually got just more subscribers at the moment. Smosh, you may know. Rihanna, you may know. Jenna Marbles, you may know. Now, some of these people in the top 10 are quite famous film stars, but others are just, say, ordinary people. I mean that in the nicest possible way, Jenna. But for somebody who's making between 124,000 and 1.5 million euros again, so 150,000 to around 2 million US dollars, you get some idea of the money that channel's making every day. So always take very roughly a middling figure of these will be a pretty accurate thing. You've got YouTube, Twitch, and there's various other tools and things there you can look at. Most subscribed, look at the top 100 networks and the top 10 YouTubers. Socialblade.com is hours of fun, if only because you can see what people are making, see what people are doing, go in and look at their tags, look at their descriptions, look at what they're doing. I do this all the time. I try and get the best of everybody, and just because somebody's top in the earnings, they're not necessarily following all the things that I've shown you, and I've made some massive changes in the last month. You've seen those in this course, and even these people can make a lot more money very easily. Socialblade.com, save that in your bookmarks. The next thing is, if I just scroll down here, this is my title, my description of my title of the film, I should say, and you can see there that what I've got is quite a good English title: North Korea documentary, secret filming, country in ruins, little left to see in North Korea. Now if you look at that, there's North Korea there, North Korea is in there twice. That helps. Now you mustn't spam this, you mustn't just like North Korea, North Korea, North Korea, or buy my diet pills, buy my diet pills, buy my diet pills, but it makes perfect sense that the most important thing, the absolute most important thing, is North Korea documentary. That's the keyword right at the beginning there, right in the title. I've got that in the title, and it's the first few words. The first few words of your title are of the most importance, and I see people doing titles that bear, it might be a joke or a pun or whatever. That works for newspaper headlines when people have bought the newspaper. It doesn't work for films. People search, and those first few words are not only important to people searching, but they tell YouTube a massive amount about your film straight away. So I've got North Korea in the raw file, and I've got it in the title there, and I've actually got some other keywords there that I wanted to appear for: secret filming, little left to see, and so on. And I've got North Korea in there again. That's the main reason why I appear top for North Korea documentary, and by doing that I can achieve first or second page of YouTube search for any words that I want within an hour. It's as simple as that. You have to follow the other rules as well that I'm going to show you, but it certainly makes a heck of a difference and can get you listed there straight away. And if I'd done secret filming, country in ruins, little left to see in North Korea, just done that, I wouldn't appear for documentary, it wouldn't appear for North Korea documentary. I might appear for secret filming, but believe me, on YouTube there's a lot of films about secret filming. Let me stress it again, whatever your most important keywords are, 2 or 3 or 4, 3 is about right, make sure you get them in first. And if it's possible to make a headline that makes sense and put the keywords in twice, do so. And a great way to do that is to say, in my case, North Korea documentary, then a colon, and then the sort of subhead about that. That's headlines. Remember, that is very, very important, but also, titles, but also is very relevant up here to the title of your film before you upload it. Going to move on now to descriptions. This is the description here. Now, if I just make this box bigger, you might be quite surprised to see that that is quite a long description. There's a lot of detail in there. And the reason for I do that is quite simply it works. Let me tell you now, let's dissect the description box. Let me just scroll that down. First of all, you can see my title, North Korea documentary, secret country in rooms, little left to see North Korea. I copy the title as the first paragraph, first line, if you like, of the description. That means those keywords are right at the beginning of my description. We know that Google likes keywords, on YouTube in particular. Remember that if you look at a website, Google can look at the words on a web page and can work out what that page is about. On a video, it's very difficult for it to look at the visuals and work out what the film's about. So it relies on things like subtitles, descriptions and so on. We'll deal with subtitles separately. By doing this description in as much detail as you can, the better you will do. So I've got North Korea documentary, the title and so on. A bit about it, descriptions of what it's about, got the North Korea and the keywords, Pyongyang and so on, things that I want. And that's very, very easy to do, okay? Very, very easy to do, and you must do it. Longer descriptions work, and they work even more so now that your description will also appear as the first entry in comments by using Google +1 or Google+. If you put a long description in, it makes a huge difference. Google likes that more, they trust it more because they can see more wording and they can work out what's happening. The other thing that you must do is have all this. You must have links to other videos, other places, links to more information. The more links you've got, the better Google will trust you, the better that they will work with you. I'm going to show you something else that you can't normally see. If I come across to just to another tab here, this is a system called vidIQ, and if you've got more than, and I can't remember the figure, but they keep bringing it down, but if you've got more than several thousand subscribers, you can have this as a plug-in to your site. Now what it does, it gives me lots of details of how my site is seen. I've just gone to their site, let me just come back. You just see the stats there working, it works for any film. And there's going to be a slight delay when I stop that playing again. Just wait for that, there we go, just pause that, right. So we get loads of stats on my films, but if you've got vidIQ, try and kill the adverts there. You can also, if you've got vidIQ, it's vidiq.com, you can see the stats on anybody's film, and you can see lots of interesting things which I'll take you through in this section. I get a score of 89 out of 100, so that's very good. Average length of view, there's 5.78 million watched. How many? I've got 293 subscribers as a result of this. How many shares, how many views, 500,000 there and so on. How many +1s, which is quite new, Facebook comments. But you can also see down there all my tags, which I'll come back to in a second. But you can see I'm getting a very basic thing there in green of 89% is very, very important. One of the reasons we get that is that we have 17 links in the description. Lots of people don't put links. 17 descriptive links, which if I come back to the film you can see it links to my channel, various other things in there. That has really helped that to work. So title, repeat it as the first line in your description. A long description, lots of words, the more details you can give on it the better. Make sure it's in proper English. I'm not suggesting spamming or just putting loads of stuff in there. It must make sense, but that's very easy. If you made a film about something, write about it. It's an extra skill, but it will make an enormous difference to the number of people who see your film. Sticking with North Korea documentary and reverse engineering that to see why it's so successful, why it's had over 500,000 views in a short time, why it's had so many comments and so on, We're going to look next at tags. This is the tags section, or the keywords section. Very, very crucial that you make a note and you understand this. My very first tag there is North Korea documentary. And just to remind you, if you search YouTube North Korea documentary, there's my film. And if you search that, there's more of my films down there. That is crucial. That, combined with North Korea documentary in the description, North Korea documentary in the title, and my film being uploaded, it would have been better if I'd called the original file North Korea documentary. That has helped to get me that fantastic position there. Coming down, North Korea secret filming, North Korea leader Kim Jong-un, various words and in a couple of languages because I'm appealing to an international audience here. My name and so, North Korean ruins, North Korea propaganda, DPRK, KCNA is the news channel in North Korea. Okay. Doesn't matter what your video is about, all those keywords are absolutely essential that you do that. If you do that along with the other things, then you'll do so much better. Long descriptions, lots of tags in there. Make sure that there are multiple words, make sure the phrases that people will search for. One thing that I've not mentioned so far, go back to your old films and you can change these, you can add things to them, you can change them. Don't change them too often, but every few weeks have a play, see how it works, and by changing some of your keywords, particularly if there's something newsy around relevant to your particular videos, you can do very well. Now then, here's something that will frankly amaze you. It did me when I started playing with it, and it can make a heck of a difference. We know that people are basically, for want of a better word, lazy. If you go to Google, if you're not in the top 3 or 4 of the listings, then people don't click on you. When people are watching YouTube, they normally are, this is the film they'll be watching, and on the right here, what they would see is other suggested films. In my case, I've got this vidIQ box, which shows me lots of information. One of the things it shows me is that 5 out of the 19 films suggested on the right are mine. So the number of total suggestions on the right hand side that YouTube is making back to the creator. A creator is a filmmaker in YouTube wording. It's an indicator of how well the creator is optimized for retaining users. Now if you scroll down, this would normally be at the top, you can see my film, my subscription there, my film, my film, my film. So if you're watching the film on the left here, bear in mind these would normally be up here. The chances are that catching your eye on the right at the time are those other films. There's another one of mine a little bit further down, this one is mine as well. So out of the 19 that are shown there, the top 4, so if I just scroll that, are all mine. So the chances are that after watching this film, somebody's going to watch this one. And you wonder, how does Alan do that? It's actually really easy, but you must follow the stages quite carefully. Take your time over this. Listen carefully, and it's an amazing secret. I'm going to go back to the channel here for the same film, and we're going to go back to the tags. You'll see here a tag, I've called it North Korea TV 1. What you have to do is to make up a word that you can remember that is unlikely to appear anywhere else in YouTube, and use that in the tag of all the videos that are relevant. I've got the tag North Korea TV 1 because it's easy for me to remember. No spaces. Simple tag, simple long word. You can make it Rumpelstiltskin 37 if you want, doesn't really matter. But something that looks like a real tag will help, in fairness, because you could be accused of spamming otherwise. North Korea TV 1 doesn't basically appear anywhere else in YouTube. By having that in all the relevant films, not in all my films, the relevant films, that helps YouTube to decide this film is part of a group of films with North Korea TV 1 in. By the same token, if you're making a film about Barbie dolls, you'd have Barbie dolls in there, so on the right there would show up other films with Barbie dolls in. If you're making a film about how to cure headaches, one of your keywords would be how to cure headaches, and they will put competing films. Now you don't want competing films, or if competing films are there, you want them to be yours. This is a really easy way to do it. So let's go through the rules again. You need a simple tag, quite a long word, one that won't appear elsewhere but isn't a spammy word, is a relevant word. Put it in with a number or something at the end will help as well, and if you do that you will find right across that whenever you look at any of my, in this case North Korea documentary satire films, that the other films suggested to you there are mine, and I think we can see the score there. 5 out of 19 of those are mine. So very, very simple thing to do, very easy to do. The great thing is you can go back to all your old films and you can add that keyword in. So if you've got films on a particular subject, which I hope you have, in a particular niche or niche, go in, add an extra tag, make that thing up, stick it on your notice board in your office so you can remember what it is, and go back and add that to every one of your films. Really easy and a great way of getting enormous numbers of extra views. And of course, when somebody goes and sees this film, let's go and try that. That was top. And wait for the score to come up. You can see mine, and we've got 5 out of 19 again. Let's go to what should we go? Let's go to this one.
CNET editor.
And forget to run the adverts. Sorry. I'll just pause that, and we've got 5 out of 19 again. Inevitably, I'm going to run adverts now. Let's come back. Completely broken that. There you can tell I'm doing this live at least. 5 out of 19, and you can see again top 4 are mine, and then CNN comes after me, which is always nice to see something of that size coming after little old me. That, I haven't given a title to that, but it's having a special keyword that makes you always appear on the right. I'll have to call it that. I wonder if I can... No, I don't think I can pattern that, can I? Great way of getting extra viewers, seriously. Enjoy. Another of the very important things to do when wanting to get your video seen is thumbnails. And you can see on this film that YouTube has offered me 3 random thumbnails, none of which are very clear. And I went to the trouble of making my own. It took me 2 minutes. A very powerful thumbnail. It's a nice font there, it's very clear. We know now that putting somebody's face on here with text is the best way to do thumbnails. If you can get a face looking at you or looking slightly to one side and some text, that seems to be the best sort of thumbnail that you can do. It's certainly worth that extra few seconds to produce a thumbnail. If you do, make sure you do the text twice. You can see I've got a white text here and a sort of a green. This gives like a shadow effect, so white or black. It gives that 3D effect. And when you see all the other thumbnails on a YouTube page, that really stands out. And the eye takes in graphics a lot quicker than it does wording, so people will search for something. If you go down the page, let's go back here. If I just go through this page quickly, that sort of stands out. This is an advert for North Korea documentary. That sort of stands out. There's a face. Not clear who it is from that angle. I know who it is, but still. That on that page. If I just go down there very quickly, I'm going to skim back up again. I'm just going to do this with you again. Can you see how much that stands out? That one I can't read. That one I've no idea, no idea, no idea. I'll bring my mouse over this side. Very dark, pointless. That's a very compelling picture, that. One of mine. This one, all the hands on the bomb there, that's also one of mine. Not bad. That one, because it's got some wording on, is very good. That's very good, not one of mine. That one, the text is missing, so that's sort of lost. Don't know what that is. Very powerful, one of mine. Very powerful, one of mine. Very powerful, one of mine. Thumbnails are absolutely crucial. They're not difficult to produce. One thing that I made a mistake on this one, and it's actually worked in my favour, don't use that area of the thumbnail. This obviously is a very big one, but I'll do it on the big one. On the YouTube watch page, there's a little clock here, a counter that tells you how long the film is, so you lose that. It's worked okay for me because it looks like North Korea's secret film. The ing is almost missing, but be careful not to use that bottom corner. So to reiterate, do your own thumbnails. Do, if you can, include a photograph of a person, that person looking at you or looking to one side. Do some text. 3 words is normally the most you can get away with. I've got away with 4 here, but you can see down here it's getting a little bit small to see. Here it looks a lot bigger. 3 or 4 words, and give that sort of shadow effect to the text. You can do that in lots of programs, or you can do it just by duplicating the text, and that gives it that sort of 3D effect and makes it really stand out. And obviously, do I need to say this? Yeah, I probably do. Use a font that's really clear, that you can actually read. So that font's not very clear. If I come down here, that font's not very clear. North Korean, I can read that, but of course with the clamps around I can't see it. I'll try and see another one with a text on it. That, joined up writing, not very good. If you're going to show text, make sure you can see it, basically. Okay. Now, I don't follow all my own rules here, you may be noticing, on this titling, because that's something that I've learnt recently, and I'm in the process of going back. So the time you see this film, this may well have changed. But that's got me, at the time of this recording, 543,000 views in 9 months, 1,200 likes, 200 dislikes, and 1,600 comments. We know that Google loves comments, so that's going to work very well. That's thumbnails. Can't stress it highly enough. It doesn't bring more people, it doesn't help YouTube send more people to you, but on the page where you're competing for other film against other films, if your thumbnail stands out, bright colours, a face, 3 or 4 words there that really stand out almost in a 3D effect, it's far more likely that your film will get clicked, your film will get watched, you'll get more subscribers, more watch time, and so on. Messages to subscribers. This is a part that's missed all the time. I'll show it here on a film that's already uploaded, same film. I've got a long description of the film here, and before I make the film public, I'll explain in a second why I'm stressing that, I copy that into this box here, and you can see it's already greyed here. Once you've made the film public, you cannot change this, you cannot change it. So it's always best when you're uploading a film anyway to mark it as unlisted or private. Then you can go in and do things like annotations, text and so on, rather than it going live before you're ready. I always make the films private or unlisted first. I go through everything, make sure everything's done, and then one of the last things that I do, once I'm happy with my text description, I put it in this box. This then goes as a message to all my subscribers. Now at the moment that goes out to about 16,000 people, I think it is at the moment. That's obviously increasing daily at the moment. That message though comes to them on an email or on their YouTube screen next time they come in. Now I use this to reiterate the story of the film to make it interesting. But the other thing that you can do, and I do occasionally, if I've got a new channel opening or I want some feedback, I want some information or something, you can put that in there, and again that goes as a message. So you've got a massive mailing list there you can use. Just remember, you can only put something in there before you actually make the film live, and that's one of those things that gets missed and people don't perhaps understand, but it's a great way of bringing extra viewers to your films and also telling them about other channels, other films, basically doing some advertising for the rest of your channel. So this will be another longish film, but it's important that you stop and start and pause and make notes and things. Something like, and this is not a very scientific study, but I reckon that 95 to 98% of all YouTube films, and possibly higher, they don't use the annotations system. And talk about leaving money on the table. A lot of people say they don't like it because they don't like the look of it, they think it might upset their viewers. As you'll see in another film in this course, it produces me an awful lot more views, thousands more every month, and you can use it for so many other things as well, depending on your particular niche or niche. I'm going to run through all the various options. This is an unlisted film. I'm just going to use this as an example so you can see what you need to do. First thing is we obviously choose the film that we want and we go to annotations. Let's open that up for a second, and there we go. Now the film will start to play, so what I just need to do is just to pause that as quickly as we can. Just wait for that to pause, and you can see the film is now preloaded. It's there in the background, and this is only a 26-second film, so we can't do a great deal with this, but I'll show you what can be done. The film itself will play along here, and if I just move it in, say 5 seconds, then up here the film will move into the 5-second stage. Okay, but I don't want to play that. We can edit an existing annotation, but there aren't any, so what we want to do is to add an annotation. And I want to take you through each of these and show you all the wonderful things you can do with them. There's a lot more to it than you might have realised, and you'll realise why, as I say, you might be leaving money on the table. First one is speech bubble. It looks like one of those speech bubbles you get in cartoons. By dragging the handles you can make it bigger, move it around. You've got this little speech thing here and you can move that around and pretend somebody's talking there. And then, like all of these, you can just type in some text in there. Text goes here, and then you've got a little comment box, a speech box. Now I'll show you each of the options on here. The first thing I get you to do is this new feature here. This only came in the last few months, custom. Just change that from normal to impact, and it gives like a drop shadow effect on your annotation. It really makes it stand out proud from the page. If you just keep an eye on that, if I just drop that back down to normal, can you see the difference there? And impact. And obviously we're only putting a little bit of text there, so we can grab one of those handles. Let's grab that one, make it easier. Let's try and make one that's making it smaller, sorry. There we go. And I can make that into whatever size I want. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to change the font there to 16 point, to make it a little bit bigger, and let's move that across there. What text color do I want? Do I want white text? Well, I don't obviously on that thing, but the background here I can change to a red, and obviously then I do want some white text to make it stand out. All right. Now at the moment, if I come down to the graph, that is starting at 5 seconds and finishing at 8 seconds, and you can see that here. Now you can type over these and scroll up and down, change sizes of the actual how long the annotation's on the screen. That drives me mad. What you can do is two things. One is if you put your mouse on the actual annotation itself, you get the cross and you can move that around, and this updates in real time, or as soon as you let go I should say. Right. But also if you put your mouse at the end there, you can drag it out. So I'm dragging that out to 15 seconds. I want it to start at 5 seconds, at that end, and that then just jumps from 5 to 15 seconds. And if I were to play that video now, that will appear on the screen from 5 to 15 seconds. So while that particular character was talking or whatever in this example. Right. There's other examples, but I'll show you each of these tools. So you've got the font size, you've got the font color, and you've got the background color. You've got white and grey as well there. A strange one. You've got the time it starts, the time it ends. Now then, the important bit. These are actually, if you want, they can be clickable. So I click that and I turn it into a link. Just scroll down a little bit so you can see. The first thing is I can paste in here a link to a video. If somebody clicks on that link, this video will pause, a new tab will open, and the video that you've linked here will play. A great way to send people onto other videos and so on. Great for the last few seconds of your film, for example. So we might want to do something like that in the last few seconds, and this would read then come and see my film. We can't see it there because the cursor is there. Bring that down, and there it is. Okay, let's come back down again. Let's move that to the beginning. See why in a second. Let's bring that down there. Okay, text goes here. Let's just move it in a second or two because there's a bit of background there. There we go. All right. So you can see different colors, different times and whatever. If I want to make that link to a video, paste the link to the video in. You can also start that video at so many seconds in. That's quite important. It sounds silly why you want to start somebody in, but if you've got a series of videos, you might have a trailer at the beginning, an ident as it's called, a bit about your channel. That might be 5 seconds in, so you start people at 5.1 seconds in, so they only see the film, or there may be a particular bit, see this bit of the film, reference to other places. And I mentioned opening link in a new window. In this particular case, you have to click open link in new window to get it to do that. So that's sending people onto a video. So here you've got to do that. Let's go on to the next option in here. You can send people to a playlist. Again, I'd always suggest opening link in a new window. You must paste a link to a YouTube playlist in there, and then people will see your entire playlist. One thing gets confusing, and it drove me mad for ages, and I just couldn't work it out, even with YouTube's help. The link to a playlist isn't the link that appears at the top here. You have to go to your playlist and then get the link from within the playlist. It's like a hyperlink within when you're sharing. So the link at the top doesn't work. It's the full link that comes once you're actually in the playlist from the share of any of the videos. Paste that in there, and again, when you save and publish, that will appear. Now, playlist, you can send people to your channel. You can either put your channel name in there or a full link to a channel page, and again, open link in new window. It'll take them to your home page of your channel. You can take people to your Google Plus page. This is mine, automatically set up. You take them to there. Don't want to do that. Let's just turn that off, come in again. This is my favorite. This is the one where I make all my money from and get all my viewers. I sent people to my YouTube username. That takes me, I will actually do is put my home page in there, so I would just type in there. That's the page. Just going to scroll up and save that. Give that a second. That will change, actually once I publish it, I'll publish this as it's not a real video. There we go. That will change in a second. If I preview that link, it takes you to my home page, and because I'm subscribed it won't show, but that would normally show you a option to subscribe, so that pops up in the middle of the screen. So subscribe is by far and away my favorite. It takes people to my home page. If they want to go any further, they've got to either subscribe or refuse to subscribe. That obviously puts the subscriptions up. That means I can email them, contact them, they get to know about my new films and so on. So subscribe is by far my favorite. And obviously I put the text up here to click here to subscribe, click here to see more. Next one down, you may not have this, depends on the state of your account, but you can link out to places like Indiegogo and Kickstarter and so on. That's very, very good, and there's more information about that. Remind you again that all the text can be changed, the impact, the font sizes, the time this runs and so on. This applies to all of these, and I just need to turn that off and turn it in again to go back in again, come down again. You can send people to an associated website, but only an associated website, so your site of your own that's associated with the site. And just go back in once more, and again, you may not have this, but you can have a merch. That's a merchandise. Now at the moment I don't sell t-shirts and that sort of thing, but you can certainly do that. The Learn More will tell you more about it. But again, if your account is in good standing with YouTube, then you can sell t-shirts, the music that's playing on your channel. If you're a band and you're playing your own CDs, DVDs or whatever, you can link out to that. Now annotations, incredibly important, incredibly important. So I'm going to publish that one. At the moment it doesn't make any sense, but I can show you. If we come back in now, we can add each one, and that's just from that part alone. If we go on to note, exactly the same, but instead of being what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to get rid of that one. Let me show you how to do that. Get hold of that and just delete it from there. So there's various ways of deleting it. I'm just going to delete that one from there, add a whole new one, which is a note. Exactly the same as everything I've shown you. Everything works exactly the same. The only difference is that instead of, I'll just move the cursor over it, there we go, instead of being shown on a black screen, probably not the best way of doing it, is it? Let's put it down here, we can see it a little bit better. There we go, and that's where it will appear. And again, the colours will be different as you choose, but the only difference between note and speech bubble is the speech bubble's got a little thing on leading to somebody talking. Okay, next one we want to do, actually I'll get rid of that one, there we go, and we'll go on to title. This is a huge box here. I'm going to type this in big letters. It's a really easy way of titling your films, and you can see I can move that around. You can go, I've got 72 point there, you can even go higher, and you can work out where it starts and end. In this case, again, you can just do that. I'll just get rid of that one. Let's drag this one to the beginning, and now if I was to play this film now, you can see title there in different colours. There's only black and white in fairness, and I can change the font size and so on. Okay, you can't send that as a link to anybody. It's a really easy way of titling your films really easily. Let's delete that one. Let's go into the next one, Spotlight. This is the one that confuses people more than anything. So what I'll do, I'll just set that up. Let me just try something around about, say, here. There we go. So let's suppose I want to make the word online here. There we go. I've drawn the box around that. Now what I can do is, whilst this film is playing, this bit of the film, this little box will appear around the word online. If somebody clicks that, that is a clickable link. Let's just go through that again. By highlighting that as a spotlight, I'm putting a spotlight on that, I've turned that into a clickable link. So everything else applies. The text, if you want to do it, you normally would say click here for more. Hope your style is a bit better, but you can see the whole of that area is clickable. Can you see that as my mouse goes over? Probably capitalise that and so on. You can change colours and so on and where it starts. But if I then send that a click to, say, an associated website, anybody clicking that, this video would pause, a new tab or new window would open, and whatever I've clicked to, which would be an associated website or one of the other things that we'll be able to show you, let's just go in again. So it'll take them to another video, so you'll see my other video or whatever. And again, there's more chance of people coming to your site, more people of seeing more of your films. There's a limit to these boxes. They're not massive. You can see there is about the limit. You can sort of bend it around and whatever. You can't do the whole screen with that. When you get to the end of your video, if you put what's called an end slate, so like a freeze frame, a picture or something of another film, have that over it, then you can say, you've probably seen this quite often, see my other film here or see our other films here. This is how you do it. You just put that box around the text that you want, size it to whatever size you want by grabbing the handle correctly, move that around, and then put your link in to wherever you want them to go, to a video, playlist, channel and so on. Really wonderful way to get people to actually make your videos clickable. And lots of people tell me all the time, you can't make videos clickable, YouTube can't do that. How can you click a playing video? Well, you can. You use the spotlight. Let me just delete that one, and we come down to label. Label isn't one that I use often, to be honest, but let's just use an example of it here. I'm just going to spread that out as wide as I can. I'm going to put text here, made that too wide, but you can see how you can label a piece of text or a piece of film. It's a bit like, in technical terms, it's known as a lower third, and you see titles coming up on the TV news and so on. And if I make that background red, and you can see there, you can pop up more information that people can see whilst the film is running, and that is label. Again, not used often, and I haven't found a lot of uses for it, but again, it's worth your while knowing that exists. So just to run through from the top, speech bubble gives a little bubble with the little annotation on there that you can move around, point to somebody who's talking, use that as a translation. You can use it for comedy purposes, this man's an idiot or whatever. Okay, I just need to delete that one. You've got the note, which is exactly the same but without the little speech thing on. And then you've got the title, so you can have nice big titles on there of any shape and size you want. A spotlight, so you can have people click to go elsewhere. And then the label, which gives a bit of more information about what they've seen. And any of those, you can normally see them here. I've just got the one that I left in there. And you can go in, edit that, and change it to what you want. Now, you may not have put these on your older films. Go back over your old films now. Use these features, certainly use these annotations, certainly above all, use your note to send people to subscribe, use notes to explain other things about films and so on. There's some fantastic features there that people do not use. Firstly, it makes your film more interesting. It makes your film stand out a lot more from other people, and it gives you a lot more chance to have a play, make your film look a little bit different, but above all, to get people to watch your other films and to subscribe to your channel. All of that comes with this little simple button here, annotations. It saves automatically these days, but do save as you go along anyway. And of course, when you're ready, you just press publish, and you can press that as you go along, and the effects take place within a second. That's annotations. Don't miss them, please. Playlists. So many people again don't use those, so that's up to us, that's me, and you, once you've learnt this technique, to make great advantage of them. You can see I have quite a few. Very easy. You're going to Video Manager and Playlists, click New Playlists, give it a title. I'll just call this one Title for the sake of it, and you can choose whether it's going to be public, unlisted or private. I'm going to make this one for the moment unlisted because obviously that'll set it live. I'm going to create a new playlist. Just wait for a second for that to go up, and there it is. Right, now then, let me explain now that we've got that what a playlist is. Imagine that somebody watches one of your films. They get to the end of the film. What are they going to do next? What would you like them to do next? Well, you'd like them to watch another of your films. Using a playlist, you put a series of films in the playlist, and guess what? When somebody gets to the end of that film, the next film in the playlist plays. It's just amazing. It's like the old days of news cinemas. You just play one film after another. You sit there all day, and people can watch your film one after the other. On the right hand side it appears the title of the next film. Rather than showing other people's films, there's a big black box appears on the right hand side, and YouTube are playing with this at the moment. You may get some slight variations. Big black box appears at the side, thumbnail and graphic. They can see all the rest of the films in the series. They can look at them while they're watching your film on the left, and that increases your subscriber numbers no end. A couple of things you need to do. So obviously the title of the playlist and the description of it makes sense, and then you can add videos. You can call videos up down here and so on, and put them in really easily, and I've got it set as unlisted at the moment. A couple of things you need to know is, let's go to the settings and show you. You've got a thing here called the official playlist. Now you may see sometimes in YouTube listings, it'll have the thumbnail of the film, the title of the film, a short description, and then in a black box the word official. Makes your channel, your film, stand out really, really well. Use this setting for sets of videos uploaded to your channel as part of an official series. Most important, this bit here, a video cannot appear in more than one series playlist. Okay, so you've got a video. Normally a film can appear in as many playlists as you want. Obviously you only put relevant films in, but if you have an official playlist, your film can only appear in that one. Now this is really fascinating here. If I get my mouse to work, YouTube may use this information to modify how the videos are presented or discovered. What you'll find, and it does take YouTube a few weeks to do this, I have to say, but if you've got a playlist and you've called it I'm going to make something on the top of my head here, latest fashion watches. When somebody searches for that, they obviously have an interest in latest fashion watches. He's using that as a silly example, obviously. People want to see a film or films about latest fashion watches. If you've got a playlist and there are several films about latest fashion watches, you will go up the rankings. You will appear much higher on the YouTube listings. I say it takes them a couple of weeks to do, but it's well worth doing, and it's again one of those things that's worth going back through your films, adding these, making your films in a playlist. So just to stress, people can still see your films individually, but in a playlist, if they watch one of those films, when the film comes to an end, they will usually, not always, but majority of the time, they'll be presented with the next film in the playlist. It doesn't always work when you're watching your own films, by the way, when you're logged in, so don't worry if it doesn't appear to work for you. But it doesn't always work for other people, and that's part of YouTube's testing. They may feel that somebody watching your film, because they have millions of data, might be better off seeing another film. But generally speaking, another person watching your film as part of a playlist, the next film they'll see is the next film in the playlist that you have. You can change the order of the playlist, you can move variations, you can put a whole lot of tags to them all, so on and so forth, a whole huge number of things you can do. One crucial thing that I always forget, and after all this time I still make this mistake, once you've added some films to a playlist, they'll all appear down here. Let me just see if I can show you a playlist in a second. But the most important thing you must do next is click the Done button, and that actually updates it. Until you do that, it doesn't actually work. And a couple of times I've come out and thought, why isn't that working? So I've got a channel here on the Apple factory out in China, and you can see 4 videos, 52 minutes, 92 views just on this. There's the films in the order that I want them, and I can move those around as I want. I can edit that particular playlist, and you can see here I want to select that one. We'll just tick at the side there, and then I've got actions come up here, and I can move it to the top, move the bottom, or remove it. I want to move that one to the top, and there it is at the top. You can add videos, and also I can sort by views, titles, date, random, reverse, and I've got some titles and descriptions here. I've changed that. What do I need to do? You're absolutely right, I need to mark that as done. Just look in the settings there. I'm going to set that now as an official channel because I know nothing else is done there, and that will really help my rankings there. Click done, and that's done. Playlists are one of those silly little things that, I don't know, people seem to not notice or miss out or whatever, but it's a very, very interesting feature, and it can increase your views many fold. One of the most important of the free tools that YouTube gives you, and is one that frankly most people don't know about, and those people who do know about it are not aware of the power of it. In the last few months it's had absolutely loads of new, really clever features added, stuff that in other cases you pay frankly hundreds of dollars for and wouldn't be as quick, and you still have to upload videos, and this is just wonderful. It's the YouTube editor, and you'll find it at youtube.com/editor, logically enough. I'll take you through the uses and ways of doing this, but the easiest way is just to show you some ideas of what you can do. And what I've got 3 films here called NY1, NY2 and NY3. And they're 3 films that I've uploaded, and they're about New York, hence the NY. Now you upload these as normal. What I want to do is to do some editing with these films, and just to give you some ideas of what can be done. So your first stage will be to get your film that you've made and upload it to YouTube as normal, but then you just need to mark it as private so it can't be seen. So you go to youtube.com/editor, and we're in this button here which shows our films. Now I'm going to take this film first, which is, I'm going to drag it down to the timeline here, as you probably know it. These films are silent, incidentally, so we're not going to hear things. This is all operating in the cloud, and it just takes a few seconds to play, so we'll just press that again. Don't want to do that. Just refresh that page. Occasionally you'll get that message, so always a good start to give it a few seconds. There we go, so we're going to play that now. And you can see a skyline of New York and the Empire State, sorry, not the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty there, let's get the right statue. And you can see the play line here, and that's just a 15-second piece of footage. Right. What I'm going to do, this little button down the bottom here, is going to make that a little bit bigger. Just make that a bit more. So again, same film, but just spread over a bit more time so we can see as we do it. We've got a little scrubber here, as it's called, so we can go back to the beginning, and as you can see, we can watch that film from anywhere we want. Bring that back to the beginning. I'm going to show you some of the features now that we can do. I'm going to go to this particular button here. Looks like a bow tie. We've got transitions, and we've got a whole series of transitions there that you can use. Now, I'm not going to start talking about how to make videos and so on, but obviously don't use lots of transitions. You would tend to only use the one at a time. I'm going to drop in a second film, just drop it onto the timeline there. And let's go into here now. Yeah, we've got a couple of films there. I want to show you the things that we can do. This is Times Square. Let me pause that. You can see that one's highlighted and this one's greyed out now, so you get some sort of idea. Let's go back to this one and show you some of the things that we can do with this. If this film was jerky, so you've been bouncing around or whatever, this stabilize video will actually make the film very, very smooth indeed. So if you're filming from the front of a bicycle or handheld, you can stabilize a video. I should stress at this stage that the preview here is low quality. This is being done in the cloud, so the quality of the preview here is low. The actual finished film is full HD in this case, but just to make things easier, it automatically shows it at a lower standard, so you can see things a good bit easier. So if you've got colour and things problems, it will fix it, lighting and colour. You can auto-fix brightness and contrast, and you can turn the contrast and brightness up and down. One of the things you can do, and it's probably easier to show you on this film, this is quite a static shot just of Times Square and the traffic going along there, going away from us Times Square at night, and let that run. Pretty boring, so I'm going to stop that, bring the play line back to the beginning again. What I'm going to do is do a zoom. This is a pan zoom, and if I press that, that'll just take YouTube a few seconds. Can you see the film is just slowly across the whole length of that? Just zooming, and it gives it a completely different view. So something like that just moving across, very, very easy to do. Turn that off again, and that'll bring it back to normal. One of the things you can do, you can preview some of these effects, so I'll show you that next. So there's some very quick fixes and things you can do. Let me just go to the filters now. So I'm going to look at this film, as it's a daylight film. Wait for that to come in, and we'll just pause it again. And in here, under filters, you've got a huge range of filters, things that you can do. So that is quite it's a dark, quite an older looking film. What I can do is make it HDR. It's not real HDR, so they call it HDR-ish. And you can see the contrast there is boosted enormously. Turn that off. You want a low-mo type effect. And you can see a sort of a dreamy effect there, nighttime, distant thoughts, romantic effect or whatever. You can cross-process. And I'll just show one more of these, which is old-fashioned. And again, it just takes a few seconds to catch up, but it looks like an old film. You can see the flickering there, like a, I don't know, 1920s Laurel and Hardy film or whatever. You can see that effect. Again, I'll turn that off. But you can also combine these. So I'm going to do CinemaScope and HDR, and you can see the ticks there are applied. It goes and does that. And you can't see it very well here, but it's got the black bars top and bottom. If any of these are applied, you get this little magic wand in the corner. It's just under my mouse, so just to the left of my mouse there. And that tells you an effect is applied. And if I turn those off, you can see the little magic wand has disappeared. I click it again, there it appears. So I'm going to turn that off. I want to show you how you can change films considerably. So you got, for example, this is a great outdoors. You can really brighten up the skies and so on. Makes a very different film. Turn that off, you can make it glamorous. And you can even do something like, perhaps not the best of examples, but a modern pop. This is great for music and so on, really pops all the colours out. You can pixelate, so you can blur things. This one's quite interesting actually, because you can probably still realise that's the Statue of Liberty under there, so that's quite good. And there's other effects as well. Now you wouldn't normally use these on the whole section of film, but you can do some very clever stuff to make things interesting. So if we come down here, as we put, I'll just stop that running. As we put our mouse over this, you can see some scissors. So what I'm going to do is click the scissors, and I'm just going to split that film there just by clicking my mouse. And you can see now there's now two parts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this part, and I'm going to apply a filter to that, and I'm going to make that just that one. Okay, so if we come back to the beginning of the film now, but even though you split the film, of course, it's still the same film continuing. So you see that now changes to a completely different effect. And I'm going to take my scissors again, I'm going to cut there, and then on this one you can see the magic wand is applied. So you can select that film, go into my filters, and then I can turn that off. So the processing isn't done until the film is totally rendered out. So just stop that, and again if I come back to the beginning now, you can see the different effects there, and it pops to that, and then we come back to the original, and as it goes on it will now transition to the street scene of Times Square. So I'm going to pause that, come back to the beginning. Let's see how we can make that better. Let's go to transitions. I like a simple crossfade, so I'm going to drop a crossfade in there, and I'm going to drop another crossfade into there. And again, these are just examples, you need to see how it goes. But just watch how clever that is. Isn't that beautiful? And out it comes again. And then there's a jump there, a jump cut as we call it, to the next film. So click there, I want to put another transition in here. Click at the beginning, and let's just do something silly, but I'll drop a star effect in there. Move my timeline along a bit so you can see. Oops. Just going to take a few seconds and you can see that effect. Right. Don't overdo transitions and effects and things obviously, but that just gives you an idea of what you can do. Right. You've got various other ways of moving things around here and so on. This is very important that you understand this, and I need to show you this, and you need to perhaps make a note of that. If you click this button here, which is a musical note, you actually get a fair choice of music. There's loads actually, and you can search here by genre. So if I want country music in the background of that, you can do so. Now I've turned the sound off. This original footage has no audio. It's just raw street scenes of New York. But you can very easily add that piece of music down there, and it will play it and it will cut it off at the end. Very, very important that you understand this. You can do that and you can have that music playing. If you do that, you cannot monetize the film that you've made with AdSense. If you're making a film for yourself or your clients, so you're not bothered, fine. But if you use that music, you cannot monetize it with AdSense. So be very careful in doing that. So I'm just going to press my delete button and get rid of that, and we're back where we are. So you can use the music from here. I'll show you in a later lecture in the course how to add music at a different stage. But at this stage, if you use the music, you can't actually, you can't monetize it. Okay, so let's look at some titling. Let's look at having a title at the beginning. So I just drag a centered title to the beginning there. And there's my titled text. So I want to call this film New York. I will do if I want to type York correctly. There we go. Now the background colour is not very nice, so let's have it as a nice yellow colour. Let's make that text much larger. Can you see that YouTube is updating that in real time for us? Okay. Let's make the text bold, and let's make the text blue. I'm not suggesting again to use these colours, but you can see them updating that in real time. That's terrific. So we've got a nice title there. We can use that. Come back here. Now we need to transition. Let's just put a cross blur in there rather than the jump, and I'll play that now, and you can see you've got a nice title coming up and a cross blur. Now that title doesn't last very long. As you can see, it's 0.02 of a second, but grab this handle here and you've got what's known as a ripple. If I drag that out, let's say we want that at, I don't know, 7 seconds is very long, but let's do that. I don't know if you see, but everything else moves along, and now that title, if we play that, let's go back to the beginning. We've got a 7-second title there, near 8 seconds actually. You've then got the transition, nice soft transition there, and the next transition, and so on. So there's lots of things you can do there. Let's go to the titling again. We'll select this particular film this time, and I want to go to text. And what I want this time is enable text, and I'm just going to type in here Times Square. Let's make it Times Square by night. So you must click enable text. The one bit that I often forget is clicking that, and you can see that's put a little effect at the bottom there. We can have we put that at the bottom, we can put it at the top, and if you can see there's a little bit of a grayscale there from black to white, just makes it stand out a little bit better. We can change the colour of that background. Again, you can see the difference there. I'm going to put that back to the bottom, but you can have it in the centre as well if you wish. And again, as a titling, that's probably a better title as an intro than what I did earlier. But let's just put it down the bottom for the moment to show you. We can make the text bold and italics. And you can see we're starting to run out of space there. Now that's fine. We can change the colour of the text. Let's make that a yellow again, just showing you what can be done. And we need to perhaps centre that to make it a little bit nicer. Now you can see here, you can see through that background. Now depending on the background, this is a nighttime scene, so it's quite dark. But you can actually turn that right down so the opacity is much lower and it's completely transparent. Now that works well, but if you had a background with lots of yellow in this case, for example, that wouldn't show up. And we can actually kill the whole of the background here so you can't actually see it. And again, in this particular clip, that doesn't work so well. So the original 50% is quite nice. And again, remember this font looks very, very blurry and so on. This is purely a preview. The end result will be in 1080p if that's what your footage is in. We can change the height of that banner if you want to put some extra lines in. I'll just show you there. And then we should be able to do that if we wanted to do so. And again, sometimes with too many fonts, too many words, you might want to change the font size. I suspect large might not fit there now. Yes, it does actually, that works quite well. And that actually then going to centre. Let's give that a second. Works rather well. And that might make a nice opening for the film or whatever. Right. So nice and easy to do, lots of options and things there. We'll leave that as it is at the moment. What I want to do next, just so many things you can do. So what I meant to show you was you have a whole series of fonts that come up here as well. So let's use a silly one. Again, this has all been done in the cloud very quickly there. And that's actually quite a nice font for New York by Night. But there we need to perhaps darken that banner up a little bit in the background. And you can see that just stands out a little bit better and maybe shorten it and so on. So you can have a mess about with that, but from some raw footage that you've got, you can actually make a very elegant film very quickly and very easily. There's just so much that you can do with it. The other thing I want to show you while you're in here, and this is something that people don't realise, is that if I just pause that for a second, and press the right pause button. So here's your original footage. You can add photos. So if you've got a lot of photos, it will turn them into a slideshow. It will do that automatically. You've got a lot more transitions that I didn't show you. Again, don't overuse those. And in the titles, you've got a centered fade, one that slides in, one that zooms in from the background and so on. So again, some more options there. But I want to show you this button. This is CC. This is Creative Commons videos. Now, YouTube takes care of all the licensing for this, as long as you stay within the YouTube editor. But we know there's in excess of 5 million films in here of all sorts of subjects. So I'm going to go to that, and you can see there's some beautiful footage here. What we're going to search for is New York City. And just hit the return or the here. And we've got some great footage here of New York. Now I can see that one is a Chinese New Year. I'm going to drop that just on the end. You can drop it anywhere you want, but I'll just drop it on the end so you can see it. Let's just preview that. It just takes a few seconds. Now this footage is totally free to use. As long as you comply with the license, which is basically you let YouTube deal with it in the YouTube editor. All the attributions and so on, YouTube take care of automatically. So there's some footage, probably with sound in fairness, taking you around Chinatown. I'm going to pause that for a second, but you can see we've got 1 minute 50. There's millions of films in there, and again you can stabilize it, auto fix it, change the brightness, title and so on. So you're going to slide this along a little bit and you can see the footage there. And again, if I go to that, let's come back to the beginning again, my little want to cut that, let's say there, obviously you do that big, split the clip there. I can now get rid of, so that was one long film, I've cut it there with the scissors. I can now delete that, and again if I just scribble along you can see that now that film starts there. Stop that playing, sorry, let's scroll along a little bit. Much easier to do than to show. You can see there that that film actually starts there. We've cut some off, and the other way of doing that is go along to the end of the film. We don't want all that. So we can select the film, and at the end we can cut off where we want. As I move that, you'll see the blue bar in the actual movie shorten. So I'm going to get rid of, let's say, all that. I'm not editing it properly, just trying to show you there. And then we've got a film now that is 1 minute 10. We've got lots of footage of New York. Needs a bit more work, but you can get some idea of what can be done. Just press the little close button there. I want to drop another cross transition into there, and again I'll just do a crossfade onto there. That's the film ready. So we've got a film there that's made up of some titles, a transition coming up now, some footage. You've got an idea there of a sepia look. You've then got another view. You've got out to Times Square by night. I think that needs to go at the beginning, but you get the idea. Another transition, and then you could do another title or overlay on this one of Chinatown. You can see the cross blur there, taking one film from another. And we've got some footage of Chinatown. Right. Just going to stop that, because what I'd like to do at the end of this, I'll just bring that down a little bit so you can see it all in the viewer there. What I need to do is to fade that out at the end, so a colour fade. So when that comes to the end now, the colour will fade, and it's a nice easy end to the film. Let's just drag that along a few seconds, and you should be able to see that. Drag a little bit more. All doing in real time, pretty much real time. And you'll see that now just fade, in this case fade to white, so you've got a colour fade there. So in a couple of minutes there, from scratch with some footage of my own and a bit of Creative Commons videos, I've made a film there. So I'm going to save that now, and we're going to call it Test 1 just to show you. And all you need to do is to press the Publish button. You often get an error message comes up when you do that. Fortunately that's not happened this time, as you saw that at the beginning of the film. And then you get this, here's the film about to be processed. And I'll stop the film there, and we'll come back when that's processed, which will take a few minutes for them to do that. And you can see there's the finished film, 1 minute 6 seconds. And we've got it marked as private. And if I just play that, you can see how that looks, and I'll show you what other things that we can do. There's the original transitions there to the sepia, and back again. There's the strange star to Times Square by night. I'm going to pause it there, because there is the music that came in, which is with the film that I used, downloaded from Creative Commons, of Chinatown in New York. So I want to show you a magic button, and that is this one here. This button here is a very similar button to what we saw in the YouTube editor, but this one is far more useful to us, and I'll show you why. First of all, I want to click it because I want to add some music to the beginning of this film. And what I've got here now is, it's still a YouTube video editor, but it's not the one we did earlier. This is for films that already exist, films that we've made and so on. And you can see here there's featured tracks. These tracks, I'll just stop the film ring again, there we go. These tracks are ad-free and eligible for monetization. What that means is if you use the music here, and there's 150,000 in total, nearly all this music you can use, but you still get all the money for the film. So if you're advertising using AdSense to generate income from the films, which I know most of you are, then you can use this music, and it's very, very easy to do, and you don't have to pay any royalty fees or anything. So if I just go to top tracks, you can see that there's loads of options here. So for New York, I'm going to choose a jazz track, and I'm particularly keen on that one, but we'll just drag that in. All I need to do is drag that, so just click it, sorry, they've just changed it, so click it there. I'm going to pause that. What I want to do is I want to watch the entire video. Let's just come in at the beginning. There we go, let's go right back to the beginning. So we've got the music, The Messenger. And you can hear that. Now you can hear that playing underneath. Now I've got a couple of choices now. As I go along to the other piece of film here, you're going to hear either only the music, or the original audio, or a bit of both. Just put that in the middle there. A bit more to get a chance to catch up. And you can hear now, if I move to where there's audio, just give YouTube. Now, because I'm recording that off microphone, it's not going to sound very clear. Let me remind you again, this is preview, this is 1080p full HD video, but the preview is very low, very low quality, so I can make the original audio. Again, let's just come across that bit of film. Or that doesn't blow my microphone up, I don't know what will, sorry about that. And you can... One last go. Okay, I need to tweak that a little bit more, but you can see you've got a choice of balanced only the music that we've added, or only the audio, or somewhere in between. Now then you're asking, that's fine, that's all very good. What if I pause that? What if you only want the music to be on the silent bit or part of it? Well, that's very easy. The start of this film I made was silent, and the last half has got the original audio. So we click this button here, position audio, and there's the track. So all we need to do is to come along to wherever the transition was. Easiest. And we've got a crossfade there. So again, can you see the changing tool there? You can see my mouse change. I bring the music down to there. I click finished positioning. And we've got a transition there from the music that we've used back to the original so-called wild sound. Now you can change that around as you wish. Lots of options there, but tons of music in here and stuff that you can use, so it's very good. Let's just go back into the music again. Let's go back to country and folk music, okay? And you can see that there's tons of tracks there. What you can do, it only shows a few, but what you can do is search, and I'll show you this because this is very important that you follow this, please. Sounds silly, but humour me for a second. Let's suppose we want to search for something called wild. Okay. Click the return button there, search for something in country and folk called wild. Did I press search? Probably not. Now there's a whole new area opening up down here. And you can see there's loads of music. Now it's very, very important that you follow this correctly if you want to monetize your music through AdSense. If you're just making a film for your own benefit, there's 150,000 pieces of music here. YouTube have paid the royalties. You've got nothing else to do, nothing to pay. It's not a problem. However, some of the people have got this little, it looks like a little bottle, little tag thing here. And if you use that music, you cannot use AdSense. Well, you can use AdSense, but the money that you make from AdSense will go to the composer of the music. Right? So you can see loads there. Easy way around that. Show advert supported songs. Uncheck that. And it'll go away and look again. It won't find any music. Well, it's just incredible. I would find something like, let's just say, track of 150,000. I would choose a word that doesn't exist. There we go. So I'm not showing ad-supported songs, and there I found it immediately with the word track in. 5 pieces of music that you can use, and you don't have to pay any royalties. In other words, YouTube takes care of it all for you. They pay it automatically. So if you're monetizing your videos with AdSense, make sure that any music you use from down here is not showing ad-supported songs, in other words, to make sure that's turned off. And if we go to the top here, anything that appears up here is always ad-free. So you want to be careful about it. You've got all this, and you can scroll up and down. Sorry, oops. Don't want to cancel that, don't want to save that, do we? Let's go to the right thing. And you've got a whole section of music and stuff there. Anything here you can use. If you search down here, you'll get more videos appearing down here. Don't use ad-supported songs if you want to make money. All right. So very, very simple to do. Lots of features and things there. Nice and easy to do. 2 more things to show you. At any stage you can press revert to original, all the music, any changes, anything you've made will all be gone. And the second thing is you can save this, either the thing, or you can save as, and that will make a secondary version of your film. So you've always got your original without any edits and things you've done here, music and so on, or you can save it as a new film. One thing I want to show you while you're in here is you can, just for safety, just close that. Makes it a little bit easier, but I'm now going to go back to the original. I won't play that again now, it's going to play it itself. We get a message down here using original audio, so that's a reminder to you that the original audio is being run. So nice and easy, it's the audio button. If you've got a film that you've already got, you can use this. If you've got a film that's, for example, got some copyrighted music on, you can now, by adding a different music, make it only music. Let me just pause that. And now your original music is gone. This copyright-free, royalty-free music is available, and your track is available for monetization. And you may have lots of people have a film, for example, there might be a band playing in the background or something on the TV. You've been refused monetization because it's got some royalty charged music. You can add a piece of music, make it only music, and suddenly you can monetize your songs, monetize your videos and so on. So lots to choose from. Just to say, remember that you've got a large choice of music, 150,000 in total, but anything that appears down here after you've searched, then that will not be monetized if it's got the little thing marked do it, so uncheck the box. And if you want to make two versions of the thing, so you've got an original and backup, you can do so. Very easy to do. Now this is a new feature of YouTube, and one that frankly was long overdue. And in Creation Tools you've got the audio library, and here you've got loads of music. Doesn't like much on this page, but there is loads that you can use on your YouTube videos. You can still monetize your videos, you can use them, and you will not get done for copyright or content IDs. This is music that you can use. Very easy to use. By pressing the button here you can play or pause the track. Press that, takes a few seconds on my link today. And you can hear that, which was much louder than I'd expected. You get a title, which doesn't help much. You get the time, you get a category or genre. This line here shows how often it's been used, how popular it is. So here I'm just in featured, and that is a very popular, lots of people have used it. You can mark this as a favourite, just click that, or unclick that because I didn't like it, and that will appear in your favourites. That button there will allow you to download that particular track, and then you can edit it into your video. You can search by genre, so alternative, punk, ambient. Cinematic works very well for documentary type films. You've got country music, hip hop and rap, music for holidays. Let's just see that come up. You've got some of these incidentally that have got these little stars by them, and they're for Christmas and special holiday periods and so on, so that whole channel is devoted to them. They were going to just put those on for Christmas, but they seem to have let them on there now. And you've got jazz and blues music. You've got some nice relaxing music, and you can see I've used some of those a few times. So you can search by genre, you can search by mood, angry, mood, let's look at inspirational music, and you've got a whole lot of those. You can see which ones are most popular, and again you can scroll down through loads of those. You can search by instrument, so if you just want something, you want a piano or an acoustic guitar or a trumpet, you can do that. One of the great things that's very, very useful, you can search by length. So I've got a piece of film here that is 2 minutes 20 seconds, let's say, and I can search for by the length of that. Sorry, I just need to bring that down. So 3 minutes 40, minimum is 1 minute on this, but down to 2 minutes 20 seconds. That will now sort itself out, so only films up to 2 minutes 20 seconds, between 1 minute and 2 minutes 20 seconds will appear, and therefore any of those will fit into my film. You can see that, and you can alter that as much as you want to, or you can if you grab hold of it properly. And you see that's 4 minutes 40, and this will update in a few seconds now, and you can see some of the longer films appearing there. So download background music for your videos for free. Down the very bottom here, if I can scroll all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, we've got terms and conditions. They tell you how it's used, but basically as long as you're using it for your YouTube film, then you can use that. Very easy to do. Audio library creation tools, being added to all the time, absolutely fantastic, really useful, and you've got no worries about copyright and so on, so don't hesitate to use that. Some of the music is absolutely superb. There's some quite famous bits. There's lots of other bits that you won't recognise that works as a music bed under your voice, that works as background and so on. So have a play with that. And if you watch any movie, you go to the cinema, go to the movies and watch all the time, there is music there. There is always some sort of music bed, something underneath. Try watching a film with and without that music. It's amazing what a difference it makes. Put it on at a low level and you can make a heck of a difference to your film. The enjoyment is there. The retention time of the film is longer. People like your films, they also subscribe, they also watch more of them. Win, win, win. So Creation Tools, Audio Library. Now supposing you've got a film that you've already made and you want to improve. You've already seen how to do the music. How can we improve the picture and so on? Well, you've got a button here called Enhancement, and it's got our old friend the magic wand there. I'm going to click that, and we get all sorts of weird and wonderful things here. So let's take you through these. First of all, you've got a split screen, so you can see the original film on the left, or you can ever pause it, and the changes you're making on the right. Now, some of these are not going to be relevant because this film's relatively good, but I need to show you the various options. Very simple one. If you've got a film that was filmed in too much light or not enough light, this auto fix button, one click will really improve your film. And it's not as well, let's say there's programs that are hundreds of dollars that don't do as well as this free one does, and it's all done in the cloud using a massive amount of processing at YouTube servers, so far better than anything you and I can have in our home studio or whatever. So autofix will make all sorts of changes. At any time you can revert to original. If you've got a film that is very wobbly, you film from a bicycle or a handheld camera, the stabilization is amazing. You've got original and preview. You can change the fill light here, you can increase that, saturation, color, temperature, contrast, all those things. One of the greatest things about it is you can trim this film. So I'm not happy now with this film as from there, let's say. I can click trim. I can bring that in to wherever I want to come in, which is perhaps there. And I can click done. And I've now got rid of that title off the beginning. So there's a bit of your film you don't like, you can see the film starts right wherever I want it to. Again, before I save, I can press revert. This is all done in the cloud, and you'll see the original film is still there, so it's very easy to delete some bits. If you've got some of the stuff that is facing the wrong way, use an iPhone and do it the wrong way, very easy. Rotate left, rotate right, and you can make a heck of a difference to your film there. I'm just going to show you one other thing that you can do. For this, I'm going to just bring in a bit of this film, maybe one of these street scenes here. Let me just check that. Let's get the people moving here. Again, this is low quality at this stage. Kill the sound. Just going to use that as an example. So I'm just going to trim that little bit because we've got an amazing tool here, which is a slow motion tool. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to 8 times. Now, normally when you're using slow motion on movies, what your camera actually does is your camera films 8 times the normal speed and then plays back at normal speed. And those sort of cameras are quite expensive. Well, they're scarily expensive. With this, you can slow motion down, and using the power of YouTube servers, you can actually, in simple terms, it guesses where the intervening picture should be. So normally you're taking roughly 24 frames per second. This is taking 8 times that, so 200 frames a second. Just have a look at this. This is the original on the left and the preview on the right. Can you see, if you slow it down, how jerky that is? Look how they do it, how smooth that is. They're actually interpolating the individual scenes. You see how jerky this is? How smooth that is. You do get some blurring on very fast images, but it's an amazing feature if you want to show a football match, people walking, somebody throwing something. So much stuff there, and so easy to do. You can also do this easily in the YouTube editor, which again is mentioned down here. So lots of really exciting things to do there. Just pause that for a second. Again, you've got filters here. These again in the YouTube editor, but you can use them here on your original film. So if I want to, what I'll do, I'll just revert to my original film again. Again, until you save or save as, you can go back. And I'll just, oops. Great when you press the wrong button. Let me come back. There we go. I'll just move the playhead into somewhere there so you can see a bit better. Just pause that. Let's go back to filters. So now I want to do perhaps not a CinemaScope, a cross process. Give that a few seconds. You can see the sort of effects and things that you can have there, original and preview. Nice to split up the screen there. You can Drag that across if you want to get a better impression. Normally keep it in the centre, but very useful. Remember to turn that off if you don't want it. If I want to turn that into an old-fashioned look now, again I'll move to actually probably a good way that, and turns it into a very old film. And just let that first few seconds run. And again, you can see the original and preview there. Okay. And if I just do that, you can see it does look like an old 1950s film there. And again, if I come down to do something silly, let's try doing a bit of glamour. Again, just to save time, move that in. And you see the difference there, sort of highlights and blurring and so on, just make it better. And of course, you can add more than one. Probably a really bad example, those two. Let's add that one and that one. So we've got like an old 8mm movie and lo-fi. Okay, just move that across. And you tell me that wasn't filmed on Standard 8 or Super 8 film in the 60s. I'll just show you the original there, very modern film. Coming across, looks like something from the 60s. And I say, if you want to add a couple of things you can do so just by clicking a couple across there. So lots of things that you can do there. I'm going to turn that off before I do anything. I'm going to revert back to my original. And then this one's very useful. This I'm not going to show you because it takes a few minutes to process, and in this film there's a lot of faces. We'll run it, but it's awkward. And the warning here, when you save it, there's a new copy and you can't revert, so just be careful. What this does, if you're filming and for some reason don't want faces to be shown, this will try very hard and blur all the faces. That does take some time, as I say, so you're not going to see that in real time. What we'll try and do, I'll just try and move it onto the Chinatown there and just split that. It's an enormous amount of processing, but trying to do that in Final Cut Pro or something would be an absolute nightmare, and it would just take hours of work masking everybody's face. Again, this is a poor quality preview there, but you can see some of the blurs as it's trying to work it out. This is probably not the best example, as the faces are very fast moving and quite small. Whereas a quick preview there, if I actually did that and save it, you will see how that worked. So lots of things to do, some really nice quick fixes in there for stability, autofix, slow motion, trimming, turning it around if you use an iPhone the wrong way, increase the colour, temperature, contrast. You can play with all of these at any time. You're not happy, one button press back to where you were, but you can also save it, and you can save as a new version. It's a nice way of duplicating the film as well. If you've got a film you want an extra copy of it for some reason, you want to play with it, you just save out and give it another name. So that's all under enhancements. That's available to your existing films. The great thing about this is that it gives you a chance to change your original films that you've already had. You know now you can do quick fixes, filters, special effects, trimming, slow motion, all these things. You've also seen you can add some music, and that's royalty free. So lots of things you can do with your old films. And remember, very importantly, that YouTube takes great note. If you change even a film that's been up on YouTube for 2 years, and you change some of the things we show in this course, then that whole film gets a whole new lease of life, and within minutes or an hour or two it can be back really highly listed, even though you originally uploaded it 2 years ago. If you're doing some work with that film, it's still very relevant, and YouTube are more than happy to relist it, often very, very high. So nice and easy enhancements, that is. I want to show you a great way of getting lots of statistics and information on other people's YouTube videos. Lots of uses for this, and I'll show you how to do that for the best. What you need to do first, though, is go to this particular program. It's called vidIQ, vidiq.com. Very clever people. Let me stress, first of all, these people are YouTube certified. What that means is that they have made a deal with YouTube. They have access to lots of data that isn't normally available. Okay, so we know we can trust the data, and we know the people are reliable because YouTube certification only comes with lots of hoops and whatever to go through with Google and YouTube. Now, it's a plugin, and at the moment it's only available for Chrome. Okay, so if you've got Chrome on a Mac or a PC, then you'll be able to do all this. There's a Chrome extension, very easy to download. Then every time you go to a YouTube video, you'll get tons of information. I'm going to give you an example here. We'll start with what we need to do sometimes. We need to analyze our competitors' keywords. You might see a video that's above yours and think, I could do to take their keywords. So let me just put that back to the home page. One of these things that scrolls and drive you mad. May as well show you that while we're there. But on there, they've got some other things as well. So they do lots of other apps and programs and things you will have heard of. So you just want the Chrome extension for vidIQ. So supposing you're going to somebody's videos above yours, or you're looking at a particular niche or niche, what is very helpful to do is to be able to see the keywords that other person has got. That gives you some idea of what keywords are good, and also see what keywords they're using that are ranking. Now normally the only way to do that is to go to a YouTube, right-click View Page Source. Sorry if this is boring, we get around this in a second. Search for keywords, take the second appearance of keywords, and there, if I get my mouse to work, it doesn't want to work in there because we're on a screen grab, sorry. You can see the keywords there for a particular video. Well, that's really rubbish, so you don't want to be doing all that. So here's the same video in YouTube. This is a great video, by the way, Shirley and Jenny, two elephants reunited after more than 2 years. We can use this as a great example of what to do and what not to do. And you'll see on my screen there is a whole new section here. This is vidIQ, and you get lots of information. So the first thing we're going to concentrate on is the keywords. Two things. These are the keywords that this particular video is used. Let me stress that I'm not giving this video as an example of best practice. I'm not doing that. In fact, quite the opposite. There's quite a few things that they could massively improve. We're not going to tell them that, though, are we? Unless they're your client, in which case you can improve the views. This video, incidentally, has had 3.7 million views. They're not doing bad, but with the stuff we've learnt in the course, you can do a lot better. So there's the keywords. You've got a little paper clip there, and if you click the paper clip, that will actually copy all those keywords into your clipboard, and it will actually save them as separate keywords with a comma in between, so you can paste them into your own keywords. You don't have to take them one at a time. You can grab the whole lot. Now let me stress again, because I see people doing this all the time, never ever put keywords into your video unless they're in your description or title. You're spamming otherwise, all right? Don't do that. So if other people have got keywords here that are obviously doing well, then by all means use them, copy them, but make sure you've got some sentences, some text, or your headline that actually has got those words in. Never ever put keywords in like this that are not in your text, because you'll be spamming then. So that's the first thing there, is that you can actually use those. You can see what keywords they've got and so on. I won't do it because it keeps opening new windows and things, but actually you can click on any of these. That will search YouTube, you can see the little yellow pop-up there, for all the keywords with that particular keyword in. So it searches the whole of YouTube for all the videos with that keyword in. Again, just incredibly powerful, because you can see how important that keyword is not only to this video, you can also see how many other people are using that same particular keyword. And of course, if that's being searched for often, if that's relevant to your niche, then you can use the same keywords. All right. Lots of other interesting things that vidIQ does. And I stress again, I didn't say this, but of course, like everything here, this is free. Always take that as read. It gives a score. Now, the score is a bit complicated to work out, and obviously they're not that open how it works, but it gives you an idea of how likely the film is to be promoted in related video search, recommended videos, and more. They use multiple metrics to compute this score, including views, subscribers, social engagement, and other signals. I think that's a long, convoluted way of saying we've got a lot of access to YouTube stats and algorithms and so on and so forth, and we get a pretty good idea of how well this video is doing. Now, I want you always to try to get, once your video's been up for a few days, to get scores above 50. So that one's done this. If you can get scores in the 70s and higher, so much the better. If you're getting less than about 50 or 60, have a look at the things again that we've seen in the course. Look at your title, look at your description, look at your keywords. Just while we're on that, Shirley and Jenny as the first two keywords. Unless you know this story, you're unlikely to find this video. Now, this company is quite well known. They've got a lot of subscribers, and I think it's a charity, so they will put this around in other ways. They've got money that you and I, frankly, don't want to spend. So they could have improved the title. Putting their title as the first description here would have helped enormously. Just clicking on the show more there. They've got no links and so on. That's laid out quite badly. I think we're going to put the title in, put some more keywords and things in there. They could have done a lot more with that, basically. All right. So going back to vidIQ, they've got a score of that. We see how many subscribers they've got. We can also see for this particular video is the thing will pop up in a second. It's running a little bit slow. Sorry. How many Facebook likes they've got. They can see YouTube comments, Facebook shares. Again, this is example. It's a charity, so they will share. There's a lot on there. 1,600 tweets. How many plus ones on Google plus one, how many Reddit votes, how many StumbleUpon views, how many people have had it published it on LinkedIn. We also can tell from this how many words are in the description. So they've only got 60 words. I think that's fantastic. Not impressed by that. 2 years and 5 months ago is when this film was posted. And the one that's popped up there, the one I always like, and is our little secret, is this 0 out of 0. That tells you, well, I'll read it to you, because you like me reading to you, don't you? The number of total suggestions in the right-hand side that YouTube is making back to the creator, an indicator of how well the creator is optimized for retaining users. Now, we have a way of doing that. What basically saying is all these videos down here that people get offered when they see this one are none of theirs. None of their other videos come here. Remember, we use a special secret tag that we suggested in the course, and after a few days, then our videos appear quite heavily here. And again, the more videos you do, the better that works. Okay. So this is a great, useful piece of kit. It's a Chrome extension only, and you can get so much detail from it. So you can use those keywords and so on and so forth. Just see if I can get this. I'm running just slowly here, and I got an error there. So we'll. My Google Charts, there's something wrong there. But you can get various graphs and things of that. You can see how many tweets they've got. You can actually, if I click that and it's working for me. The reason I haven't added this to the course previously, incidentally, is during the last month, vidIQ wasn't working. They rebuilt it. It was wonderful for a while, and they crashed it out. And now spoken to them, and they say it's all working again, which it was. It's just a problem on my computer there, I think, at the moment. But you can see there all the various tweets. Okay, let's go back to stats again. And you can see the sheer amount of information you get there. But the most important bit from my point of view is these tags. You can copy them, you can look at other people's tags, you can click on those tags. Each one it'll search in YouTube for how many other appearances there are of that tag. All right. Amazing, useful piece of software, and it's free. We like free. So go to vidiq.com. These companies have built up some very strange names for themselves that make it very hard to read out. But it's vidiq.com. And there it is. And I would, of course, scroll across as soon as I go to that. But there's the name up there. vidiq.com. Install the Chrome extension. I think you have to reboot your browser. So just restart that, shut it down, start it up again. But then whenever you go to any YouTube video, then you'll get some more details. So this video here has had 350,000. This is how it pops up. I'll just make that a bit smaller so you can see. And it's going away and getting the stats that will appear here in a few seconds. So you have to go away and get all those stats in real time. And I just want to wait a few seconds for that. I also need to just pause the video so you can get that. Don't you love it when things work really fast? There we go. So I'll need to scroll down in a second. That data is just coming through. Obviously it's downloading the video at the same time. And there's all the stats there. So this one's got a fantastic score, 95 out of 100, sorry. Lots of views, lots of subscribers, lots of comments. This was on CBS News apparently, so perhaps that's a good keyword for them, because it was, I don't know. And again, I've not looked at the rest of this thing. But you can see the data you've got there, and they also give you on this one, just get my mouse to work back into there for a second, that it's actually hidden. You love it when that happens, move your mouse out of the way. But underneath here there's a creators, there's an overall score. That's not going to appear. There we go, true engagement rate. That's their own mathematical thing, but again, that gives you an idea of how well that particular video is doing. And if you get some with high rates and high scores, and they're in the same niche as you, then you can get lots of really good ideas of how to improve your own videos. I notice again this one, 0 out of 20 creators suggested, so none of these other videos down there are theirs. And obviously what you want is somebody watches your video either from a playlist or from here you want your videos appearing on the right. You'll notice incidentally this does just slightly change the appearance of YouTube for us, and it moves these down. Normally, because I've got the screen set quite large, if I just close that, this will all move up, but it will still move the videos down a bit. But it's very eye-catching for us, and it's totally free and a great way of keeping up to date with everything. As ever, I hope you enjoy. Here's a great new feature that's rolling out from vidIQ, and you're going to find it incredibly useful already. It's been useful to me. When you go to vidIQ, it takes a few seconds to load, but as you've seen, it gives you all this information, and there's your tags, or anybody else's tags for that matter. New feature now, recommended tags, which are these here. Now, remember that tags, they must be relevant to your particular video. So in this case, all those are. And all I need to do is I can just run my mouse over them. I can't when I'm video recording. I can copy those, drop them into Notebook or whatever, text edit, put commas between them and just paste them en masse into my description, into my tags. Now that's fair enough, that's quite useful, and it'll give you extra ideas of things that can be used. Two other things that you can do, of course, if you're competing for a front page position with a competing video, what you can do is look at their tags, see what they've done, but you can also see what tags that they're missing out. And then if you're competing for that person, you can use those tags. Make sure that you've got these phrases and so on are in your description always. Remember, never use tags that aren't relevant and that you don't mention in your description or your headline. And that'll give you an even better chance of beating somebody else. So there, great new feature. So it's rolling out from today. Absolutely brilliant. There's one feature they need, which I've emailed them and asked them for, and I'll just remind you on this. If you're looking at someone else's tags, you can actually click the little paperclip there, and that will copy all those tags into your clipboard. Very useful because you can paste them then into your site or whatever, and it has all the commas and things between them. They haven't done this with this just yet, and I rather hope they'll do that shortly because it'll be incredibly useful. So there you are, lots of ways to use that. Use it to add more tags of your own. I'm about to use these and add them into this particular video. And also by looking at your competitors' videos, you can see what tags they should be using and not using, and you can use them for yourself, again, as long as you do it correctly. Enjoy, lots of fun. I'm very excited by that. You can tell, can't you?